Good evening to my professor and my fellow classmates. Tonight I am here to discuss the differences with you concerning two different topics. We're going to do a little compare and contrast, okay? The things that I will talk to you about the difference between tonight are what a student-centered instruction will look like versus a teacher-centered instruction. I first want to begin by giving you the definition of what a student-centered instruction will look like. Students and instructor share the focus. Instead of listening to the teacher conclusively, students and teachers interact equally and group work is encouraged. And students learn to collaborate and communicate with one another. So, it would be just the opposite of what I just told you to look for a student-centered instruction. Now, with the teacher-centered instruction, the teacher will do the most of the talking. The teacher will make the plans, and the students will have to just flow with whatever the teacher says. It will be an environment where students will not be as productive with one another. It will not be a child-friendly classroom. So I'm going to talk to you about compare and contrasting with a student-centered instruction versus a teacher-centered instruction. The teacher-centered instruction is where the instructor, which is the teacher, chooses the topics. With the student learning instruction, students have some choice of topics, giving the students, allowing them to use their thinking skills. What will they like to talk about may not be what the teacher want them to talk about. So let's give our student choices. The next thing, the teacher will evaluate students' learning versus the student learning instruction. Students evaluate their own learning, okay? The instructor also evaluates. So do you see the difference there? The teacher just evaluate the lesson, not giving the students an opportunity to see what he or she or the others in the group, what they've done. So letting them look at each other's work and seeing how creative one another is being. All they have is the topic that they came up with, not the one that the teacher has told them to look at. And just say if the students had some choices of maybe talking about animals, animals as pets, or talking about zoo animals, or talking about maybe even water animals. So do you see how you've given the students a range of things to discuss when it comes to the topic? Not just saying, okay, today, boys and girls, we're going to talk about pets. Okay? So then the teacher have closed the mind set for the students. Give them a variety. Allow them to choose, okay? And then when it comes to evaluating that piece, instead of the teacher just looking at the work, allowing the students to look at their own work. Okay, I chose water animals, and I wanted to draw a whale because I like how big whales are and the color that they are. So you're giving the students freedom, allowing them to use their very own critical thinking skills for what they want to talk about, okay? And when it comes to the group, each student can also evaluate each other's work. Okay, I see that my classmate here that's here with me in the group, he or she wanted to talk about zoo animals. When they visited the zoo, they saw the kangaroo and they admired how the kangaroo would hop around on two legs. So in that group session, with the children being able to choose, they were given the opportunity to draw the picture of what they had an interest in. Then the students seeing each other's work, that's evaluating, okay? And then the instructor come behind the student to evaluate. And remember, we're talking about preschoolers. So the teacher would ask questions concerning the drawing. Oh, I see something blue. Can you tell me what that is? And they'll say water. Okay, and now I see a mammal here, and of course you would have already talked about mammals and other animals and things of that nature. Can you tell me what color it is? Have you ever seen one? So just giving them the opportunity to flow with the conversation, that's building vocabulary. So that's a good thing, allowing the students to evaluate their work and each other's work, and then the instructor will follow. The next thing that we want to look at is a teacher-centered instruction. The classroom is quiet versus the student-centered instruction. The classroom is often noisy and busy. We want to again think about the age group that we're working with, and I think it should be this way for every age group. No student want to learn in a quiet environment. We understand that there's a time and a place for everything. But to see students collaborating with one another, gathering each other's thoughts, that helps one another. Actually, students learn from one another better than what they learn from us as the instructor. So we wouldn't want a quiet classroom. Again, that's to accommodate the teacher. And we have to be mindful that we are accommodating our students, okay? So a classroom that's often noisy and busy, you know that they're learning, they're working with their hands, and as they're filling and lifting and seeing it with their own eyes and conversating. Conversation is so good. They're collaborating with one another, sharing thoughts again. So I like the fact of having a student-centered instruction classroom. It's not about the teacher, it's about the students. So again, teacher chooses the topic. Student have a choice of topics. Teacher evaluates students' learning. Student evaluate their own learning, and the instructor evaluates also. Teacher, classroom is quiet. Student, the classroom is often noisy and busy. I hope that this video, we're talking about the differences between a teacher-centered classroom versus a student-centered classroom. And remember, it's always good to see students collaborating, and they do learn from one another. Thank you for watching this video.